1971. What if I told you there's a single penny from 1971, a coin most people spent without a second thought, that today could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars? Yes, a plain old Lincoln penny from your change jar, with no mint mark at all, could turn out to be one of the most sought-after treasures in American coin history. Picture this, it's 1971. Gas is 36 cents a gallon, the radio's playing, "Take Me Home," "Country Roads," and kids are lining up at corner stores with a handful of pennies to buy bubble gum. One of those pennies, maybe one that passed through your own hands, was different. It came out of the Philadelphia Mint, missing the usual mint mark, struck just slightly off, and carrying the tiniest variations that make collectors' hearts race today. For decades, these coins sat quietly in drawers, piggy banks, and coffee cans, until sharp-eyed collectors began realizing that certain 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln cents held secrets the world had overlooked. The 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't rare because it lacks a letter, Philadelphia coins often did, but because of how perfectly imperfect some of them were. Certain examples show strong doubling on "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," a sign of a rare double-die error. Others have a strikingly deep, crisp design and nearly flawless surfaces, the kind of condition collectors pay top dollar for. High-grade versions of these coins have sold for hundreds, sometimes thousands, depending on their condition and variety. Countless people have spent or given away these pennies, never realizing what they had. Imagine finding out that a coin you tossed in a vending machine could have paid your mortgage. It's happened more than once, a reminder that the smallest things we overlook can sometimes hold the biggest value. Don't let your memories, or your fortune, slip through your fingers. When you hold a 1971 Lincoln penny, check the date closely. If it has no mint mark, it came from Philadelphia. Look carefully at the letters in "Liberty" and the motto, "In God We Trust." If you notice even the slightest doubling, you may be looking at a valuable error coin. And if your penny still has that original shine and crisp detail, it could be worth sending to an expert for grading, because condition is everything in the collector's world. That if you think you found one, get it verified by trusted names like PCGS or NGC. These professional grading services will confirm its authenticity and condition, and once it's certified, its value could skyrocket. Many collectors and dealers are actively searching for these high-grade 1971 no-mint mark Lincoln pennies right now, and demand is only growing. So before you dismiss that old coffee can of coins sitting in the attic or the jar tucked behind your kitchen sink, take one last look. That humble penny from your past might just hold your future. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where every coin tells a story, and every story reminds us that history isn't lost, it's just hiding in plain sight. 1967. What if I told you, a simple 1967 Lincoln penny, the kind that's probably sitting in your old change jar right now, could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars today. No mint mark, no fancy shine, yet this unassuming little coin has become one of the most talked about treasures in American coin collecting. Back in 1967, America was changing fast. The Beatles ruled the airwaves, gas was 33 cents a gallon, and people carried pocketfuls of Lincoln pennies without thinking twice. But in the middle of that everyday change, a few mysterious 1967 pennies slipped into circulation. Unlike most coins from previous years, these carried no mint mark at all. Collectors thought it was an ordinary change in production, until some began discovering small differences, unique features, and flawless strikes that didn't match the rest. Stories spread. One man in Ohio found one in a box of old coins he'd inherited from his father. That one, ordinary, penny paid for his daughter's college books. So what makes the 1967 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so special? That year, the U.S. Mint decided to temporarily remove mint marks from all coins to discourage hoarding during a national coin shortage. As a result, these pennies came with no mint mark whatsoever. But here's the catch. Certain high-grade versions of these coins, especially those struck with exceptional detail or struck on special planchets, can be worth serious money today. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, the ones that escaped scratches, dirt, and decades of wear, can bring in surprising values at auctions and collector markets. Imagine this, someone spends one of these rare 1967 pennies on a stick of gum, never knowing it could have been worth hundreds. It's happened countless times. Every day, rare coins vanish from circulation forever because people don't take a second look at what's jingling in their pockets or sitting forgotten in old coffee tins. Don't let that happen to you. When you pick up a 1967 Lincoln penny, pay attention. The date should read 1967 with no mint mark beneath it. The surface should look unusually sharp, with deep, crisp details, especially around Lincoln's hair and the word Liberty. And if it's in near-perfect condition, bright, smooth, with that original red tone, you may be holding something far more valuable than you think. If you believe you found a gem, have it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC, two of the most trusted names in coin authentication. A small investment in verification could reveal that your coin belongs to the rare top-tier class that collectors are actively hunting for right now. So before you toss that old penny aside, take another look. That small piece of copper might just be your link to American history, and your ticket to a surprising reward. Go check that jar, the drawer, or that old coin book from your childhood. Because sometimes, history doesn't just sit in museums, it hides right in your own home. What if I told you that a simple penny from 1975 tells a story, the kind you might have discovered in a drawer decades more than you ever imagined, could be worth more today than some people's entire coin collections? That's right. A tiny copper coin bearing the D mint mark from Denver has become one of the most talked about mysteries in modern coin collecting history, the 1975 D Lincoln Monticello penny. And if you've got one sitting unnoticed in your change jar, you might just be holding a rare piece of American treasure. Picture this, it's 1975. Gas was cheap, music had soul, and every kid had a penny in their pocket. One man from Colorado, an ordinary factory worker, claimed to have found a strange penny in his lunch change, a coin that looked like a regular Lincoln cent but had something unusual about its reverse side. Instead of the familiar Lincoln Memorial design, it appeared to show the Monticello, the building that belongs on a Jefferson nickel. He thought it was a joke at first, but what he was holding might have been one of the rarest minting mix-ups ever recorded. Over time, whispers spread in collector circles about a mysterious 1975 D penny that somehow carried features never meant to leave the mint. So what makes this coin so special? The 1975 D Lincoln penny is believed to be a mint error, possibly a die clash or even a transitional strike involving the design of another denomination, something that shouldn't be possible. The Denver Mint was operating at full speed in 1975, producing millions of coins daily. But in that chaos, a few error coins slipped through, and collectors today are searching for them like modern-day treasure hunters. The coin's copper shine, combined with its deep history, makes it one of the most sought-after pieces from the mid-1970s. Sadly, many people have likely spent these valuable pennies without realizing it. Some might have handed them over for candy, others tossed them into a fountain decades ago, making wishes with what could have been a fortune. Even now, some of these rare coins could be hiding in coffee cans, attic boxes, or those old glass jars where memories, and money, gather dust. If you ever come across a 1975 penny with the D mint mark under the date, take a closer look. Check its details carefully, the color, the strike, the clarity of Lincoln's profile, and the reverse side for anything unusual, especially if it looks different from the standard Lincoln Memorial. Every small detail could reveal you found one of those legendary minting mistakes that collectors would pay thousands to own. If you believe you found one, don't just toss it aside. Have it examined by professional grading companies like PCGS or NGC. These experts can verify its authenticity, grade its condition, and help you understand its true market value. Some verified examples have stunned the collector community with how high their auction prices have climbed. So before you spend that old penny or overlook the coins that remind you of your childhood, take a second look. That simple 1975 D Lincoln penny could be more than pocket change. It could be a bridge to America's history, and maybe even your next great discovery. Check those jars, those old wallets, and those keepsake boxes, because your next treasure might already be in your hands. And if you love stories like this, where history hides in plain sight, subscribe to Timeless Treasures. Together, we'll keep the past alive, one coin at a time. 1977. What if I told you there's a simple 1977 penny, one you might have spent on bubble gum decades ago, that today could be worth hundreds, even thousands, of dollars. It's not shiny gold or silver, but a regular copper penny with a mystery that's leaving collectors across America speechless. This is the story of the 1977 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that's turning pocket change into pure treasure. Picture this: a retired schoolteacher in Ohio sorting through a jar of pennies she's been saving since the late 1970s. Most coins looked ordinary, worn, brown, and forgotten by time. But one penny stood out. Its date read 1977, and something was missing. There was no tiny mint mark under the date. Curious, she brought it to a local dealer, and that's when her life changed. That humble penny, the same one she might have dropped in a vending machine decades ago, was appraised at several $100s, because of its rarity and perfect condition. What was once just pocket change suddenly became a piece of American history. So, what makes the 1977 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny so special? Unlike coins struck in Denver or San Francisco, pennies without a mint mark were made at the Philadelphia Mint. While most are common, a small number were struck with exceptional precision, sharp details, deep luster, and near-flawless surfaces. These high-grade examples, especially those that survived uncirculated, are now incredibly valuable. A pristine 1977 no-mint mark penny graded by PCGS or NGC can fetch hundreds, sometimes thousands, depending on its condition. It's a shining example of how even modern coins can become hidden gems when preserved right. Countless people have spent or given away these valuable coins without ever realizing their worth. Many of these rare 1977 pennies ended up in parking meters, piggy banks, or tossed into fountains. Imagine finding out the coin you used to buy a soda in 1978 could have covered a weekend getaway today. The truth is, every day, treasures like these are being overlooked, simply because we've forgotten to look closely. When you hold a 1977 penny in your hand, pay attention. The date should read 1977 with no mint mark beneath it. Flip it over and admire the classic Lincoln Memorial design. Sharp, clear, and detailed edges are a strong sign of value. Coins with full, bold features and minimal wear are in high demand among collectors. If yours still has its original red copper shine, you could be holding something truly special. To know for sure, send your coin to trusted grading services like PCGS or NGC. These experts can authenticate, grade, and certify its true market value, sometimes revealing a hidden fortune sitting right in your change jar, that dusty jar of pennies tucked away in your kitchen drawer or garage. Don't overlook it. Because sometimes, the simplest things from our past, the coins we grew up with, carry the greatest stories and value. Every penny tells a piece of America's journey, and yours might just be a missing chapter worth more than you ever imagined. So, before you spend that 1977 penny, take one last look. And if you love discovering the history hiding in plain sight, subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where every coin has a story waiting to be told. 1978. What if I told you that a simple penny from 1978, one that might still be sitting in your old change jar, could hold a secret most collectors have never even heard of? Yes, a 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny that's quietly turning heads in the coin world for its mysterious background and surprising value. It's not just a penny, it's a forgotten piece of American history that might just be hiding in your home. Picture this: a man in Ohio, sorting through a box of coins he hadn't touched in decades. The coins were dusty, the wrappers yellowed with time. He wasn't expecting much, just memories. But as he held up one penny, a 1978 Lincoln cent without a mint mark, something felt different. The shine, the texture, the faint design quirks, all stood out. When he had it checked, he discovered it was one of the rare early strikes from the Philadelphia Mint, coins that were never meant to be special, yet ended up becoming treasures because of their history, scarcity, and stunning condition. Here's what makes this coin truly special. The 1978 no-mint mark penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which, during that era, didn't use mint marks at all. But what collectors now prize are the coins that show extraordinary detail, sharp Lincoln features, deep, clean strikes, and almost proof-like surfaces. Some even display minor die errors or doubling on Liberty or the date, pushing their value into hundreds, and in top condition, even thousands of dollars. These coins stand as a bridge between eras, the last breath of the old minting style before the 1980s changed everything. Too many people have already let this opportunity slip away. They spent their 1978 no-mint mark pennies without a second glance, never knowing that one of them could have been worth a collector's fortune today. Imagine passing one through your hands at a grocery store years ago, never realizing you just gave away a piece of history. But the good news is, it's not too late. Millions of these coins were made, but only a few remain in mint condition, and those few are in higher demand every single year. When you pick up a 1978 penny, look closely. It should have no mint mark under the date, completely blank. The details on Lincoln's hair and coat should be crisp and defined, with no fading. On the reverse side, the Monticello-like structure of the Lincoln Memorial should show every line clearly, without wear. And if you spot even a slight doubling or unusual shine, that's your sign to take a closer look, because you might be holding a coin collector's dream of finding that. If you think you've got one, get it verified. Reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC can confirm its authenticity and condition, and that certification alone can multiply its value. Even local coin shops or coin shows often have experienced dealers who can give you an initial opinion before you send it in. So before you toss that old penny aside, take another look. That small coin might carry a story from your past, and a value you never expected. Every coin tells a piece of America's story, and sometimes, that story is worth far more than face value. Go ahead, check those old jars, that coffee tin, or the drawer where time stood still. Because one of those forgotten coins could change everything. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you find history hiding in plain sight. 1979. What if I told you that a simple 1979 penny, the same kind that jingled in your pocket decades ago, could be worth far more than just 1 cent today? That tiny copper coin with a D mint mark from Denver might not just be spare change, it could be a hidden piece of American history sitting right under your nose. Picture this, it's the late 1970s. Gas was cheap, Elvis still played on the radio, and people were just beginning to hear about computers. In Denver, the U.S. Mint was striking millions of Lincoln pennies. But among those countless coins, a few came out different. Some had subtle but rare striking errors, faint double dies, or slightly misaligned designs. And for decades, they went unnoticed, passed through candy stores, lunch counters, and the hands of everyday Americans. Then, years later, collectors began uncovering them in old coin jars, and the excitement started to spread. What was once pocket change became a piece of American treasure. The 1979 D Lincoln penny became sought after not just for its age, but for its potential minting errors, including double die obverse, off-center strikes, and unusual die cracks around Lincoln's bust and the date. These unique flaws turned ordinary coins into rare collectibles. Some pristine examples, graded high by professional grading services, have fetched hundreds of dollars, and in exceptional condition, even more. It's the combination of history, rarity, and nostalgia that makes this penny one collectors can't stop talking about. Many people have spent these pennies without ever knowing what they had. Imagine someone cleaning out their old change jar, rolling up coins, and unknowingly giving away a small fortune to the bank. It's happened before, and it'll happen again. But not to those who pay attention. Because those who take the time to look closer often find the treasures others overlook. That if you still have some old pennies from the late 70s, now's the time to take a second look. The date should read 1979, and right below it, you'll spot the small letter D that stands for the Denver Mint. Examine Lincoln's profile closely under good lighting. Look for doubling in the letters or numbers, any faint cracks in the metal, or a slightly off-center strike. These are the signs collectors dream of finding, and the ones that could turn a simple penny into a collector's prize. That if you think you've got a special one, don't guess, get it verified. Send it to trusted graders like PCGS or NGC, or visit a reputable local coin dealer. A certified grade can turn curiosity into confidence, and often, into real value. So before you cash in that old change jar, take one last look. That 1979 D Lincoln penny could be more than just a memory, it could be a small but powerful reminder of America's past, and maybe even your next great discovery. Remember, every coin tells a story, and some stories are worth a lot more than a penny. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, because history isn't lost, it's waiting to be found in the palm of your hand. 1944. What if I told you there's a simple penny from 1944, a coin most people ignored for decades, that could be worth thousands of dollars today? Imagine pulling a small brown cent from your change jar, and realizing it's not just a piece of copper, but a rare survivor of America's wartime past, a coin so mysterious, collectors everywhere are hunting for it right now. Back in 1944, the world was still at war. Factories were running day and night, families were rationing supplies, and every bit of metal mattered. During that time, the U.S. Mint made an important decision, to switch back from steel pennies to copper after the war needs began to ease. But something strange happened in the process. A few 1943 steel planchets were accidentally used in 1944, creating one of the most fascinating minting mysteries in American history. And among those coins, the 1944 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny from Philadelphia became one of the most sought-after coins of the century. This isn't your average Lincoln cent. The 1944 no-mint Mark penny was struck on leftover steel planchets, a mistake that turned it into a collector's dream. While most 1944 pennies were made of copper, a handful came out silvery steel instead. These few coins slipped quietly into circulation, never meant to exist, and today they're worth small fortunes. Some examples have sold for over $100,000 at auction, simply because of this remarkable error. Many people once spent these rare pennies without a second thought. Some were given away as change at gas stations or dropped into piggy banks, gone forever. One collector even told the story of finding a steel 1944 penny in a handful of old coins his grandfather left behind, only to realize later it could have paid for his entire college tuition. That's why it's so important to look, because these treasures often hide in plain sight, waiting for someone with a keen eye to rediscover them. So here's what makes this beauty stand out: the coin should read 1944 on the front, with no mint mark beneath the date, meaning it came from the Philadelphia Mint. But instead of its usual copper color, it will have a silvery, steely tone, slightly magnetic, with that distinct wartime shine. The reverse shows the Monticello design and the words, 1 cent, and E pluribus unum, standing proud on the back, a symbol of America's resilience and precision. That if you believe you found one, don't clean it or handle it too much. Take it to a trusted coin dealer, or better yet, submit it to grading services like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate it and tell you exactly what you have, and its potential market value might surprise you. So, before you dismiss that old jar of pennies sitting on your shelf, take a closer look. The next great treasure might be waiting right there in your own home, a link to America's history and a fortune in disguise. Remember, every coin tells a story, and some stories are worth far more than you think. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover the hidden history, one coin at a time. 1951. What if I told you that a simple penny from 1951, the kind you might have spent on a pack of gum as a kid, could now be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars? That's right. A tiny copper coin from the days of jukeboxes and black and white TVs has become one of the most sought-after treasures among collectors today. And the best part? It could be sitting quietly in your change jar right now. Picture this: it's 1951. The United States is recovering from World War II, and families are building new lives. A young boy in Indiana walks to his local store, jingling a few pennies in his pocket. One of them happens to be a 1951 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. He buys a soda, never knowing that decades later, collectors would be scouring the country looking for that very coin. You see, back then, coins were a part of everyday life, passed through countless hands, across counters, and through history itself. Each one tells a story, and the 1951 no-mint Mark penny tells a powerful one about America's golden age. Now, here's what makes this coin so special. The 1951 penny without a mint mark was struck in Philadelphia, but not all of them were created equal. Some had subtle striking variations, pristine red luster, or perfect condition straight from the mint. Those few that survived decades without scratches, oxidation, or wear are now prized by collectors. In top condition, a single 1951 no-mint mark Lincoln penny can bring in hundreds, sometimes thousands, especially if it's certified as mint state red. That's an incredible return on something once worth just 1 cent. Many people have spent or tossed these coins without a second thought. Maybe someone once dropped one into a church donation box or gave it to a child for candy, never realizing what they were holding. The truth is, every day, rare coins like this slip through people's fingers, coins that could have changed their lives. Don't let history repeat itself in your hands. When you hold a 1951 penny, look closely. If there's no small mint letter under the date, that's your Philadelphia strike. Examine the color. A bright, copper-red shine means it's likely been preserved beautifully. And look at Lincoln's jacket, the fine details, and the smoothness of the fields. If it looks nearly untouched, you may just have something extraordinary. To be certain, have it authenticated by trusted grading services like PCGS or NGC. These professionals can verify its grade and value, and that little slab of certification could turn your old penny into a serious collector's prize. So before you toss that old change aside, take one more look. That 1951 penny from a simpler time, maybe passed down from your parents or found in an old drawer, could be your very own piece of American history. That jar of coins in your kitchen, it might just hold your future. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you find history hiding in plain sight, one coin at a time. 1961. What if I told you that a single penny from 1961, a simple, copper-colored coin you might have once handed over for a piece of candy, could today be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars? That's right, the 1961 Lincoln penny, quietly minted in Denver, has become one of the most sought-after treasures hiding in plain sight. Picture this: a man cleaning out his late father's desk stumbles upon an old cigar box filled with coins. Most were ordinary, until one caught the light just right, a gleaming 1961 penny, untouched by time. His father, a factory worker in the early 60s, used to say, "One day, these old coins will tell our story." He was right. The 1961 penny carries a piece of that golden American era, when gas was 31 cents, Kennedy was in the White House, and every coin minted felt like a promise for tomorrow. So, what makes this humble penny so special? While millions were minted, only a few came out with remarkable errors: double dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on leftover steel or silver planchets. These rare mistakes, combined with high-grade, uncirculated conditions, turn what was once just a cent into a collector's dream. A flawless 1961 Lincoln penny has fetched over $5,000 at auction, and that number keeps climbing as more collectors hunt for pieces of mid-century history. Imagine finding one of these coins years ago and spending it on a soda, never realizing you held a fortune in your hand. Many did just that. Every day, people unknowingly trade away pieces of history, coins that could pay off a bill, a vacation, or even help a grandchild's future. Don't let that be your story. The key lies in the details. Check for a bold mint mark just below the date. Examine Lincoln's profile closely. Some rare strikes show doubling around his nose, beard, or the word Liberty. A coin with sharp, crisp edges, deep red luster, and no visible wear is where true value hides. Even a single preserved piece can change everything. If you believe you found one, don't guess, confirm it. Send it to trusted grading services like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can multiply its worth instantly and protect its authenticity forever. These experts have seen how small errors turn ordinary coins into extraordinary finds. So before you dismiss that old coffee can full of pennies, take another look. That 1961 penny might not just be a piece of metal, it could be a piece of your past, and a key to your future. Because sometimes, history hides in the smallest things. And if you love uncovering those hidden treasures, subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where every coin tells a story worth remembering. 1964. What if I told you there's a single penny from 1964, the Thomas Lincoln Monticello mint mark penny, that could be worth far more than its face value today? A simple coin that's been hiding in plain sight for decades, quietly tucked away in jars, drawers, or those little boxes we use to keep our spare change in. It may look ordinary, but for collectors, this coin has become one of the most talked about hidden treasures in American coin history. Picture this, it's 1964, a time when America was filled with hope, music, and change. Families were saving pennies in glass jars, kids traded them for bubble gum, and no one thought twice about the year stamped on the coin. But among those billions of Lincoln cents, a few special ones were struck in Denver, the D. Mint mark, with an incredible story behind them. Some were made with rare die varieties, others struck using leftover experimental planchets intended for the Jefferson Monticello nickel design, creating a fascinating mix-up that few ever noticed. Collectors call it one of the most intriguing mint mysteries of the 1960s. What makes the 1964 D. Lincoln penny so special is its connection to minting anomalies and transitional metal blends during that era. The Denver Mint was running at full speed, and minor variations, such as double dies, off-metal strikes, and unique planchet errors, slipped through. A true 1964 D. Lincoln penny with an unusual finish or faint traces of the Monticello-based design can be worth hundreds, even thousands, depending on its condition and rarity. Some pristine examples have stunned experts at auctions, making this penny a must-check for any collector or treasure hunter. Too many times, people have spent these little miracles without realizing what they had. Imagine the heartbreak of finding out that the penny you handed over for a coffee could have been worth enough to take a family vacation, or more. These coins are still out there, passed down in estates, sitting quietly in old boxes of pocket change. Every day, another chance slips through someone's hands simply because they never looked closely enough. If you find a 1964 penny, take a moment before spending it. Turn it over and look for the D. Mint mark right beneath the date. Check the surface carefully. If it has an unusual shine, doubled lettering, or faint outlines of another design beneath Lincoln's portrait, you could be holding a coin that collectors crave. These aren't mistakes, they're pieces of history, frozen in copper. The best way to confirm what you found is by having it authenticated through trusted grading services like PCGS or NGC. A verified 1964 D. Lincoln penny in high grade with visible minting varieties can instantly transform from spare change to a collectible masterpiece. That old jar in your kitchen, the one that's been sitting there for years, it could be hiding your future. The stories, the history, the legacy of America's past are right there, waiting for you to uncover them. Don't let another treasure slip away unnoticed. Check your change, share your finds, and join us here at Timeless Treasures, where every coin tells a story, and every story brings history back to life. Subscribe today, and let's rediscover the hidden value of the past together. 1965. What if I told you that a single 1965 penny, the kind you might have spent on candy as a kid, could now be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars? Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But right now, collectors across America are hunting for one mysterious coin, the 1965 No Mint mark Lincoln penny, a piece of copper history hiding quietly in old jars, drawers, and coffee cans all over the country. Picture this. It's a warm summer afternoon in 1965. The United States Mint was in the middle of one of the biggest transitions in modern coin history. Silver was being removed from coins, mint marks were disappearing, and millions of new coins were being struck under tight secrecy to prevent hoarding. Somewhere during that hectic year, a few special Lincoln pennies slipped through, pennies struck with older, sharper dies, showing incredible detail and beauty, unlike the mass-produced ones that followed. One collector, years later, found one of these shining like new in an old cigar box his grandfather left behind. That single discovery changed how he saw coins forever. So, what makes the 1965 No Mint mark penny so special? First, it was struck at a time when mint marks were intentionally removed, making it nearly impossible to tell where the coin came from, Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Yet, some of these pennies show subtle differences in strike and composition that make them stand out. Certain high-grade examples, especially those preserved in near-perfect condition, have sold for hundreds and even over $1,000 at auction. And with collectors always chasing flawless, untouched examples, the demand has only continued to rise. Imagine this, thousands of people spent these coins without a second thought. Maybe your parents handed one to a gas station clerk, or you tossed one into a vending machine as a kid. Each one of those could have been worth a collector's dream today. Many of these coins were lost to time, circulation, or simply forgotten in dusty change jars. Every day, someone unknowingly lets a piece of American history slip away, and it's happening even now. That here's what you want to notice when you look through your change or that old coin jar. Focus on the date, 1965, with absolutely no mint mark under the date. Look for clean, sharp details in Lincoln's hair and coat, signs that the coin was struck early with fresh dies. Flip it over and admire the Monticello design. The crisper and more defined it looks, the higher its potential value. Brilliant red or glossy copper tones are also signs that the coin has been well preserved and may hold significant worth. If you believe you found one of these special 1965 pennies, don't rely on guesswork. Have it verified by trusted experts like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate and grade your coin, possibly revealing that it's worth far more than you ever imagined. So before you spend that old change or cash in that dusty jar, take a second look. That little 1965 penny might just hold the story of America's transition, your family's past, and a collector's fortune waiting to be rediscovered. Every coin tells a story, and yours might be the next great find. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where we help you uncover the hidden history waiting right in your hands. 1967. What if I told you, a simple 1967 Lincoln penny, the kind that's probably sitting in your old change jar right now, could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars today. No mint mark, no fancy shine, yet this unassuming little coin has become one of the most talked about treasures in American coin collecting. Back in 1967, America was changing fast. The Beatles ruled the airwaves, gas was 33 cents a gallon, and people carried pocketfuls of Lincoln pennies without thinking twice. But in the middle of that everyday change, a few mysterious 1967 pennies slipped into circulation. Unlike most coins from previous years, these carried no mint mark at all. Collectors thought it was an ordinary change in production, until some began discovering small differences, unique features, and flawless strikes that didn't match the rest. Stories spread. One man in Ohio found one in a box of old coins he'd inherited from his father. That one ordinary penny paid for his daughter's college books. So what makes the 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special? That year, the U.S. Mint decided to temporarily remove mint marks from all coins to discourage hoarding during a national coin shortage. As a result, these pennies came with no mint mark whatsoever. But here's the catch: certain high-grade versions of these coins, especially those struck with exceptional detail or struck on special planchets, can be worth serious money today. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, the ones that escaped scratches, dirt, and decades of wear, can bring in surprising values at auctions and collector markets. Imagine this: someone spends one of these rare 1967 pennies on a stick of gum, never knowing it could have been worth hundreds. It's happened countless times. Every day, rare coins vanish from circulation forever because people don't take a second look at what's jingling in their pockets or sitting forgotten in old coffee tins. Don't let that happen to you. When you pick up a 1967 Lincoln penny, pay attention. The date should read 1967 with no mint mark beneath it. The surface should look unusually sharp, with deep, crisp details, especially around Lincoln's hair and the word Liberty. And if it's in near-perfect condition, bright, smooth, with that original red tone, you may be holding something far more valuable than you think. If you believe you found a gem, have it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC, two of the most trusted names in coin authentication. A small investment in verification could reveal that your coin belongs to the rare top-tier class that collectors are actively hunting for right now. So before you toss that old penny aside, take another look. That small piece of copper might just be your link to American history, and your ticket to a surprising reward. Go check that jar, the drawer, or that old coin book from your childhood. Because sometimes, history doesn't just sit in museums, it hides right in your own home. Subscribe to Timeless Treasures, where every coin tells a story, and your next discovery could be worth more than you ever imagined.